So it's tough, Alec. Let me give you a picture of what a lot of people have to deal with. You get up in the morning, there's no electricity. The majority of Zimbabweans, perhaps even the richest, don't have water, running water in their homes. They buy water. Water gets delivered to their homes. So water is not there. Electricity is a problem. You get out of your gate to drive. We've got the worst potholes. I was saying to my wife when we're driving, my wife we're discussing and saying, Alex sent an email saying there are potholes. Seriously? Are these potholes? We have real potholes. So if you want to see proper potholes, come to Zimbabwe. So life is a pain. The things that you take for granted in societies that work are a mission to get to happen in Zimbabwe. We have a saying that it's as if ZANU-PF, every time we go to bed, they gather together to say, how do we fix Zimbabweans tomorrow? How do we mess up their lives? It's a
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. I hope you guys are doing great because I'm doing absolutely great. So I just wanted to say, everyone, I hope you're well. And please, if it's your first time to visit this channel, I'm asking you to subscribe. Make sure that your notification button is on because every time I drop a video, you'll be the first person to be notified. And if you're my regular, trust me, I love you so much. Thank you for sticking around because I'm having fun. And for your comments, guys, I'm grateful. Your engagement is super inspiring. I'm so thrilled just having you guys around me. Now, today we're going to be looking at the voters' roll, which is such an interesting story that is trending on Twitter. Oh, and our second story, we're going to be pursuing Trevor Ncube on one of the articles that he wrote. And the headlines are saying Mnangagwa and Nelson Chamisa must be stopped in order for us to have a better Zimbabwe. And I want to know what you guys think about that. So for this and more, I'm asking you guys to stay tuned. All right, so we're going to start by this tweet, which is like my favorite tweet now. Alinaka did post out the tweet. He said, without disruption to the current political ecosystem, we are all going to pay for not having electoral reforms. So this is what I'm going to say quickly, is that the problem that we have as Zimbabweans is we think that politicians own our lives. You must never think that the failure of Zimbabwe today is because of a politician. No, it's because of us, because these politicians can only deliver as much as we trust them, right? We have become a very toxic people to a point where we no longer focus on the important issues, but we rather pursue individuals. Politicians are simply people that are pursuing leadership. But at the end of the day, the quality of their leadership is definitely being determined by our reactions, by our own personal assessment. Because truth be told, if we were evaluating the work of the president, the current president, His Excellency, Mr. Mnangagwa, I think we wouldn't be where we are today, right? We could have evaluated that first month, because I do remember after the coup, the president sent out a message that was on Facebook. I saw it on Facebook, so let me not even talk about Twitter because I wasn't that active on Twitter. And he was requesting us to write down some of the issues that we think he should address immediately. And people were posting. The president used to have like literally almost 1 million response on Facebook, if I'm not mistaken. But the number dropped. Why? Numbers dropped because people are disappointed. I think before we even talk more about the president, we need to look at his administration, because the president is a busy man who's all over the place. And while we trust ministers to do the work, his cabinet to do the work, but this cabinet here has completely failed dismally. And it's not a personal issue. They are incredible people. But when we assess their work, we can see a lot of loopholes. So as far as the issue of reforms are concerned, before we start blaming Nelson Chamisa that is not pushing for reforms, you and me, we should push for reforms. Yes, you and me, we should go outside and try tweet, Facebooking, TikToking, make noise about reforms. Say something, but don't blame an individual. Because at the end of the day, if Nelson Chamisa wake up tomorrow, go to heaven, God forbid, what are you going to do? When you put your trust in men, the Bible is very clear, put your trust in God. Husbands leave, wives die, marriages fall apart. And now all of a sudden you think you can put your trust in a politician. then it's your problem. Zimbabweans, we need to mature. Politics is very toxic and it is distorted. We need to be a community that understand that our lives really, we have the power as a people. There was another cartoon that I once saw that was say people don't know their power. A lot of people were literally standing there. There was one person on the other side of the equilibrium. Not even know how much they could let this person fall. If we are tired of the Zimbabwean situation, we should also rise up and take action. Yes, you don't give up on life, you keep moving, right? That's exactly what I'm saying. So I love this tweet. Really, I do support the tweets, but funny enough, I didn't know that there was actually a template for vote rigging. So that template. So I actually went on to say Mnangagwa's candidature must be undermined in rural areas. Rigging is a process, not an event. So, like they always say that ZANU-PF is winning in the rural areas. Yo, let me tell you something. I've traveled in the rural areas. People are fed up. I've traveled and I met people who say, don't worry. They will know what we're capable of. People are fed up. I don't care any amount of pressure that the regime who put on people. People are fed up. And I think the regime is making one mistake. Instead of confronting individuals, they should look and say, what are the challenges that people are facing? So then address them. That's the only way to silence the people. But you can't force people to believe in a lie. We are built to repel manipulation. It's the way God builds us, That's how it works. Now, so there is a template in here that was total registered voters in the rural. They said it was about 3,801,907,000. And then urban, 1,976,384,000. And then in total, the registered voters. I don't think these are the only people that registered to vote. I'm sorry. 5,778,291,000. I know my name is there, but I don't think they're the only ones. And then they're saying wards in the rurals are 1.569. And then urban, they're about 401. Then constituencies in the rural, they're about 154. This is ZEC, straits. And then the urban, they're 56. Okay, we want reforms. We want reforms. In other words, what we are focused on, which is the main problem that we need the voters' roll. Mr. President and your cabinet, we need the voters' roll. Because, guys, we cannot expect to rig our way into destiny. Life doesn't work like that. It's like a woman who falls pregnant, so think that the man can marry her. There are principles that govern life, y'all. We can't expect to cut corners and things will work for the country. It will not work. And let me tell you, when they fall apart, they'll fall apart for everyone. Whether you're Citizen Coalition for Change, you may be ZANU-PF, you may be a Kasukuri's supporter as a candidate, you may be all other independent supporters, and the dubious ones as well. I'm telling you, it's going to fall on your head. So we better wake up and do the right thing, guys. And really, all of us screaming that we need reforms. Because at the end of the day, it's actually good for the president too. Because if the country is functioning, everything, we won't be talking right now. Guys, I used to be ZANU-PF, don't forget that. We all grew up in ZANU-PF. Yes, we used to be, but after I checked and see some of their work, I'm like, no way, I'm not gonna do this. I cannot. Really, like, I'll run away. I'll run with my life, So let's move and look at Trevor Ncube. So first of all, Trevor Ncube has always been so mean as far as Chamisa is concerned. I don't know if I'm the only person, but for those who know Trevor Ncube can also attest to what I'm saying right now. I think sometimes it's very hard. He doesn't know what Chamisa is going through. I don't even know how Chamisa is doing it. I don't know how he's doing it because it's hard to actually be in politics in Zimbabwe. It's the most difficult journey any person can ever walk. So the headline of his article says Mnangagwa and Chamisa must be stopped for Zimbabwe to win. I disagree. I think ZANU-PF must be stopped. Yes. Chamisa, I have respect for this man. This man, I have respect for him. I don't even know how you go to sleep. By the way, I have more respect for the wife than him because I can only imagine having to have support a man who is fighting with such a brutal, system. It's not easy. It's not easy. Like having to have a man comes home every time he's drained, he's stressed, you have to pray, you're worried about him. I mean, guys, please shout out to him. I'll give him credit any day, any minute. This man deserves my respect. It's one thing to talk. These people have been through the most. I mean, every time we approach elections, there's a lot that go down emotionally, physically. I mean, people sanity has been tampered with for a long time. So guys, before you start criticizing, let us just extend grace to one another, knowing that we are all trying so hard to make this country a better country. I think we are trying so hard to make it a better country for all. But I'm gonna read his tweets. So it's, his article actually. So he said, if President Mnangagwa was a patriot concerned with the well-being of all Zimbabweans, he would patriotize a nation, prioritize nation building ahead of vote buying. The past 5 years have proved beyond a shadow of doubt that Mnangagwa is not a nation builder, but instead is fixed on what power gets for him, his family, and clan. That's a very dangerous thing there. If that is his allegations are true, but I mean, what do you want me to say as a commentator? Because one thing I'll tell you about life is that you may think you're building when you're actually collapsing. It's very possible because you cannot build anything in life on people's tears. You can't. It may look like you are building, but because there's no foundation, because the principles cannot lie, they always reign supreme. You can't win. I can tell you facts. Most people right now that are busy looting in the country that think they're building something. Brothers and sisters, you're not building anything. Mark my words, put this on record. You're not building anything. You're putting yourself under a curse. Yes, it doesn't work like that in life. You must remember, people are suffering. People are suffering because of you. Because you're looting the man that's supposed to feed the poor. Build a country. Young people's destinies are ruined because of you. I don't know how you even go to sleep because you eat wicked. And I'm going to proceed to read this article. It said, Nelson Chamisa is proved incapable of a transparent and values-driven leadership. He lacks the vision, maturity, and inclusive approach to leadership, and thus not qualified to lead Zimbabwe at this juncture. He is politically insecure, a trait common among authoritarian leaders. I disagree completely. As much as I support Citizen Coalition for Change, but if there are hiccups, I'm very objective. And Dinama favors. I believe in saying things as they are. Chamisa is trying hard. And trust me, we can all be saying whatever we want to say, but if the will of God says Chamisa will be the president of Zimbabwe, there is nothing you and me will do. Because every sweat, every pain, every tear, every shame, every vile word, God heard. I do not think after what the opposition have been going through, things were just going to die down. It won't. They have to lead the country. But what I would suggest we do, personally, I feel like we need to, after the elections, we're definitely going to have an emerging winner in terms of a presidential space. But we need to start building the cabinet. In terms of the cabinet, we're going to have to look across the spectrum. It does not matter which political party. I feel like we need to include the right people, who are good at the job, and make sure that we build the country. And really considering the business sector, because that is dying daily because of political intervention. So that can never be taken lightly. We have to make sure that we really come together and fix our country. It is our country at the end of the day. It's our country. And the new president says, Zimbabweans people are beyond hurting. We are collectively reaping years of abuse as a people, and the consequences are palpable. The economy has been neglected and hollowed out first by Robert Mugabe and his cronies, and now by Mnangagwa and his family. The health and education sector have all but collapses with a significant long-term impact on economic growth and human development. Physical infrastructure such as roads, bridges, telecoms lie derelict. Government incompetence and the huge trust deficit between the government and the citizens have put paid on any hope of a stable local currency in the immediate future. I completely agree. But trust me, people are hating not because of Chamisa. As a matter of fact, Chamisa and most of his leadership, and us as a people who are believing in his leadership, is because we are fed up of living in a toxic environment. We want to have a better Zimbabwe. That's our goal. We are all praying to have a better Zimbabwe. I just hope you understand it has nothing to do with personal, but really a quest for a conducive, health, respectful, as well as developed environment. That's our goal. We're all crying for one thing. But there is a force that is resisting that growth, that is comfortable with stagnation. That's what we need to pursue heavily so that we are able to move forward. And he went on to say, national institutions such as parliament, the army, and the police force have been personalized or rendered ineffective. Our national values such as common purpose, hard work, discipline, productivity have been corrupted and debased. Our leadership is modeled greedy, selfishness, and corruption, which may have emulated with a flourish. This is simply not sustainable and not material for nation building. This state of affairs should cause anybody who cares about the nation to pause for introspection. It is a grave state of affairs that cries out for inclusive national re-engagement and reconstruction. Any politician who thinks otherwise is disingenuous. Any citizen who thinks their favorite politician has this figured out is dangerous psychopath. As Tim Mamliso said recently, the election is also a test on the electorate which has voted mediocrity into parliament in Kansas over the years. I agree. Because, one thing that we can all agree with is that Zimbabwe is extremely toxic. But I think blaming it on Chamisa is absolutely wickedness. It's wickedness. As much as I respect him and as much as I vote for him, and I will vote for him as much as I love him as a leader, I also want you to tell that it's very disrespectful because this man, you don't know what he's dealing with, guys. If I were you, brothers and sisters, you would extend grace. You would definitely extend grace. I know that you may say, oh, no, but he is aspiring to be a leader, so pretty much he needs to take anything that we say. No, but we need to always learn to support each other and believe in one another. Because at the end of the day, if we want a better Zimbabwe, you and me have to work together to make it happen. There's no any other way around, but we can't build where we criticize. We can only build when we encourage and when we believe in each other, right? So this is actually such a, it's not a long one, but I just want to read it because it really has got very powerful points in it. That's why I wanted to just share that with you. So there is no capacity in both ZANU-PF and the citizen convergence for change to rebuild Zimbabwe without the broader participation of competent and patriotic citizens at home and abroad. Mnangagwa and Chamisa must be stopped for Zimbabwe to win. My hope and prayer, and indeed that of many who want Zimbabwe to win, not an individual or political party, is that a runoff follows the poll and forces Mnangagwa and Chamisa to negotiate part of the terms for governing, not ruling, over the next 5 years. Let us be clear about one thing. If the Mnangagwa function of Chamisa and his zealous win, Zimbabwe loses for 43 years. We have, by omission or commission, participated in the destruction of our beloved country. In August, we have an opportunity to say this far but not further and force an inclusive outcome. An inclusive outcome based on values and broad national interests anchored on constitutionalism, human rights, and economic development that benefits all, including minorities, widows, the poor, and orphans. It's a powerful, really a powerful page. But the will of the people must prevail. If people vote for Chamisa to be the president of Zimbabwe, no one should stop it. I'm going to explain to you why. Because the energies of the people can never be undermined. Don't undermine people's decision. If they vote for Chamisa, it's not your right. I know some of you, your argument is that he's young. But leadership has nothing to do with your age. It has everything to do with calling and purpose. So if God says, Nelson Chamisa will be the president of Zimbabwe come 2023 and beyond, maybe for the next 5 years, you have no right to step in because of his age. David was young, but God chose him. He had brothers who had all the stature, they had education, but God says, I want David in the place. You don't know why God is putting him there. Even if he's 45 years old, I'm saying let him be the leader. Let's respect the will of the people, because the will of the people is the will of God. Especially the amount of people that are following him. Chamisa has the people. Whether you like it or not, people love him. So this last one is actually his closing remarks. So he said the only result acceptable from the 2023 elections is a win for Zimbabwe, not a victory for an individual or a political party. Our nation is in dire straits and no single individual or political party can fix it. Our beloved but broken nation needs all hands on the deck. Agreed. But if Chamisa wins the election, he must be the president of Zimbabwe. And then we can deal with all other cabinets and now include everyone across the spectrum to be a part and parcel of the nation building. I completely agree. Zimbabwe needs to be revamped. A lot of things are not in order. We need to assassinate the culture that we have now, the culture of greedy, of lies, manipulation, bootlicking, politicking. We have culture of abuse, violation of human rights. All of those must be assassinated by all means. Bribe, the corruption, it's demonic, it's wicked, it's evil, it's an armor from the pit of hell. It has destroyed homes, it destroyed farm. Today we can all attest every corrupt person in Zimbabwe should take full responsibility for the drugged young people on our streets, prostitutes among our children. You should take responsibility. But like I said before, you can never build an empire on anyone's tears. It's a principle. So you're going to fall. As the empire falls, you're also going to be falling. That's how it works in life. So we need to go back to basics and really build our nation. But I am going to say to Mr. Trevor Ncube, I know you don't like Nelson Chamisa because he's young. But trust me, if God chose him, there's nothing you're going to do about it. The only thing you can do is just give him support, pray for him, believe in him, trust that God is with us. Because all of us, no one knows what the future holds for us except God. And the will that should prevail should be the will of the people, because the will of the people is the will of God. I hope you guys have heard what I said. That's all I have on this article. I'm asking you guys to subscribe to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget. And my friends, please comment, share, and also like. And until next time, guys, I love you all and God bless you. Bye for now.